Hello, I am Sharad Vaze, practicing chartered accountant for more than 38 years and handling disciplinary cases for more than 16-17 years. Today, I would like to discuss clause number 6 of Schedule 1, Part 1 to the respective statutes which deals with practicing professional. So what the clause number 6 says, which I think is one of the most important clause because that defines or determines the counter of our professional activities. It says a member in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he solicits clients or professional work either directly or indirectly by circular advertisement, personal communication or interview or by any other means. This clause has got two exceptions to which we will deal with later. So solicitation of client for professional work either directly or indirectly by means of circular advertisement or personal communication or interview or by any other mode is prohibited. The reason is obviously very simple. The services rendered by a professional are personal services akin to a services rendered by a doctor or an advocate. It is not like a grocery shop where a particular goods are available at 10 rupees. At the next shop, it is available at 9 rupees 90 paise at 10% discount. So people are 1% discount. So people are going there from this place to that place. It is not like buying and purchasing of commodities, but it is the rendering of a service which is purely of a personal nature. So solicitation in any form is prohibited. Advertisement is prohibited. Issuance of circular is prohibited. Naturally, then the question will arise in the minds of new professionals or new member who wants to enter into practice, how his practice will grow up. If he is not allowed to circulate, he is not allowed to advertise, then how he will stand in the profession when he is in the initial stages, just started the practice, because these things are prohibited. He cannot make roving inquiries, he cannot visit into industrial estates and go from one person to another person seeking for some professional work or professional assignment. Now you think it in this way: if advertisement circular is allowed, assuming for a moment, if it is allowed, then only well-established firm of professionals will have a financial strength to issue advertisements in the newspapers, in the professional journals, in the magazines, or to issue circulars by various means, leaflets. So this is financially possible for a well-established firm, whereas certainly not possible for a newly professional intent to start the practice or who has started the practice just recently. He will not be financially well off to do such expenditure, because even the advertisement may not result into getting the clients, for the simple reason the service is of a personal nature, of a professional nature. So advertisement solicitation in any form by issue of advertisement, circular, etc. is rightly prohibited. It is not a constraint or restraint on the part of a newly professional. In fact, it safeguards his independence and it brings him at par with well-established firms. Otherwise, what well-established firms can spend, the new person is not in a position to incur such huge expenditure without any assurance of getting any professional assignment or work by advertisement or issuance of circular. As just indicated, there are various exceptions given in the statute as well as by way of council decisions. Now, what are the exceptions? The exception which is provided in clause 6 itself, that provided nothing herein contained shall be construed as preventing or prohibiting any chartered accountant, I mean to say professional, because in all the three and all the other two statutes also the word is cost accountant or a company secretary. There is no change whatsoever. I have repeatedly told this again and again. Any chartered accountant from applying or requesting for or inviting or securing professional work from another chartered accountant in practice. So you can seek the professional work from another chartered accountant. It is very well acceptable because it has been so provided in clause 6 of part 1 schedule 1 to the respective statutes. In a sense, newly established chartered accountant, a person who wants to start a practice, he can visit various professional fellow brothers and ask for some subcontracting or some sort of assignment. Now, for instance, if a newly chartered accountant wants to start a practice and approaches me, obviously, besides encouraging him, I also give some assignment which it is not possible for me to handle, number one. Number two, it may not be remunerative with respect to my standing. And number three, I can offload some work so I can get the work done in timely manner. So in this way, one person can assign the work of, say, accounting. If you're doing the audit of a small person or professional, you can offload or outsource the accounting work, or you can outsource the ROC filing work, or you can outsource the TDS filing work. That means some sort of arrangement can be established between two professionals. So a young professional or new professional can very well approach the well-established professionals and seek their help, their assistance, and even some assignments from them. And if you complete those assignments in time to the satisfaction of the seniors, certainly new work will flow to you only. And if you are handling the work of these new persons, new clients, certainly through their mouth publicity, you can get new assignments or new work, new clients. So this is how it is a new person can establish himself in the profession. Then second exception is nothing is applicable where a member from responding to tenders or inquiries issued by various users of professional services or organizations from time to time and securing professional work as a consequence. Many times, certain professional institutions established, governed by their independent rules and regulations, if they give appointment to a professional without calling for tenders, then their issues need to be tackled because it is prohibited by them. For example, a cooperative bank or government undertakings, they issue advertisement. Various public sector banks issue advertisement for empanelment. Even at that time, they ask for quotation that these banks branches in your locality are for concurrent audit. Now, give your quotation as to the fees that you will charge for the assignment of a concurrent audit or a statutory audit of a particular district cooperative bank. That means some sort of advertisement tendering is issued because of their own rules and regulations. And in that case, if a member professional subscribe or files such a tender and quotes his fees, it is perfectly justifiable, it is acceptable, it is not a professional misconduct. Similarly, if an institution sends inquiries to 3-4 professional firms that this particular assignment is to be given and kindly quote your fees. So when there is a specific requirement, in case of tender, anybody can apply. In case of quotation, only to the persons to whom the request has been made can quote his fees for a particular assignment. So even the submitting quotations or submitting tenders is an exception to clause 6. It is permissible. Now, with reference to these, various guidance statements have been made by the respective institutes, especially the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. where certain practices are allowed even or which certain practices does not fall in clause 6. Now, besides work through other professionals and submission of tenders and quotations, what is permissible to a professional chartered accountant is you are allowed to advertise for only for change of address, change in composition of your partnership firm, or dissolution of firm. That means XYZ is a partnership firm. It has dissolved from so and so date. That sort of advertisement is permissible for a professional chartered accountancy firm. Or you can mention that Mr. X is not a partner of this partnership firm with so and so date. So it is meant for general public that that X person cannot or should not represent the firm after that particular date. So that sort of advertisement only for informing the change of address, composition of partners, and dissolution of firm is allowed to be advertised in the local newspapers. A professional is allowed to advertise in professional journal or a newsletter published by ICAI only, like with respective institutes. That means a journal that is chartered accountant published by ICAI or your regional council newsletters or branch newsletters, you can advertise, but advertisement is only for certain purposes like seeking articleship, seeking partnership, seeking assignments from professional brothers. In those journals, you are not allowed to advertise your attainment in any manner whatsoever. You cannot say that we are experts in tax laws, so this sort of practice is not permissible. Then you are allowed to empanel. All of us are aware that we annually empanel ourselves with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for nationalized bank branch audits. Likewise, we empanel ourselves with Comptroller and Auditor General of India for various PSU audits. So this is perfectly justifiable, perfectly acceptable. Then a professional is allowed to publish books, articles, or even a presentation. In a sense, if he has published a book on the professional activities or other activities, he can carry his designation as CA XYZ, or he can carry Sharad Vaze, Chartered Accountant, nothing beyond that. Don't add anything that he has been expert in this field or in that field, not at all. Expertise is not to be advertised. Or he can write articles in various professional journals, he can write articles in local newspapers, he can write articles in professional magazines like Taxman, CTR, etc., or even other websites like TaxSutra and so on, or ITIT Online. It is perfectly justifiable, it is acceptable. Presentation. If you have made any presentation for any seminar or lecture before the professional institutions, and that can be give a presentation on a YouTube or any other manner, or the organizers may upload your presentation on the website, that is also acceptable. Then you are allowed to send greeting cards on New Year or on Diwali or on such other occasions, only to your clients and not any other persons. You can send invitations for the opening of new office or the shifting of new office or for the marriage function in your family, like that. But in the invitation card, you can write CA XYZ, or you can write XYZ and Company Chartered Accountants, nothing beyond that. In any form whatsoever, it should represent, it should liken to solicitation for a new client. However, advertisement for silver, golden, platinum, or centenary celebration may be published in the newspaper. Please note that we are completing 75 years in the profession. That sort of advertisement is permissible, but nothing beyond that. No attainment of your firm to be described in such advertisement. Then sharing of firm profile. Many professional firms have prepared their profile in a booklet form. It is not to be distributed generally, but if the client asks specifically for a firm profile, you can give such firm profile to your existing client or a prospective client only on the request of a prospective client. Then even credits are seen in the television or movies. The institute says that you can have your name included in the credits for a movie or a television series provided that it is like any other name that has been included, that has been given credit in the movie or a television serial. In a sense, it should not be in a broad or a bold or a beyond certain font size in a movie or a television series. It should look like any other person on the same nature, same character. Then educational videos are permissible. I am the best example of this. I am making all these videos. It is permissible for a professional because it is meant for enhancement of the knowledge of professional brothers. Through this mechanism, I do not intend or I do not solicit any client because it is restricted to a enhancement of professional knowledge only and nothing else. Now, what is not allowed, that advertisement for teaching coaching activities by a member is prohibited. Suppose I am taking lectures on taxation or on company audit or on auditing or such other professional work in my office only for about say 8 to 10 students, normal office capacity. I am not allowed to advertise this fact that I am conducting such coaching classes for the students of a professional institutes. It is strictly prohibited. Do not compare with a professionals who are not in practice. To them, part 1 of schedule 1 is not applicable. So the companies or professionals who are in full-time classes teaching, they can advertise because they do not hold certificate of practice. Then sponsorship. Generally, sponsorship is prohibited. However, if sponsorship is for any program conducted by the institute or regional council or a branch, it is permissible. Then public interviews, obviously strictly prohibited, provided you do not advertise yourself as to the attainment, what you have done, or any particular judgment which had been in your favor, then you are saying how I argued the case, and all these things are not allowed even in a personal interview getting published anywhere. Even advertisement through post box is also prohibited because one person has said that whether the advertiser is a chartered accountant or not, it is not known to the general public, then why it is not allowed? That means I will say that I am undertaking the work of TDS filing and I advertise through post box mechanism. The person, the new client or the general public will not know that advertisement is by a chartered accountant. So what is wrong in that? But institute says even advertisement through use of post box mechanism is strictly prohibited. Then the last one, roving inquiries are prohibited. In a sense, I just taken out a covering letter, I'll attach my profile, take out a list of certain professionals, certain industrial groups like say Chemists Association or a particular association in a particular city or SATA Industrial Members Association, likewise get their email addresses, get their postal addresses and send my information to them. Such type of roving inquiries is prohibited. Now, thanks for this clause number 6 only, which is I think most important because that helps a professional how to increase his professional practice and what practice should not be followed while increasing the practice. Next time we'll see clause number 7. Thank you very much.